Read the shirt! Now, this typically isn't valuable information to know about somebody, at least in my opinion, their sexuality, but here you go. I am what you call a heterosexual, also known as straight. I am the gender that I was born as, and I am sexually attracted to the opposite and only the opposite. So, there's my sexuality for you. Now, why does that matter? Well, it wouldn't any other time but now, in this video. I never thought that I was going to ever make this video. In the back of my mind, I kind of thought at some point I would, but it's kind of surreal doing because it's something I've had in the back of my mind for a long time, but I didn't decide to sit down and record it till today. And after some preparation and remembering some awful years of my life, that's what we're going to be doing. This is probably my most personal video that I will ever put out. In this video, I'm going to call some specific people out on their bullshit, and I think that it is completely warranted in every way. This story, I feel like, for one, I think is funny in a lot of ways, but I also think that it can be valuable for some people in one way or another. Like you read the title, that's literally what this video is about. Like, I am a heterosexual male who has been outed and has faced like actual real firsthand homophobia for being gay when, you know, not actually gay. Right. There's a lot of pieces to this story, so I think I'm going to kind of split this video up into different segments, and I might even put timestamps. Most people watching this probably have no idea what I'm talking about because I'm just a guy on the internet that they might watch. But believe me, from where I am at and with the people I know certain people in person who watch my YouTube channel because they already knew who I was, right? Because I used to go to public school, I live in a small town, I know some people know me, and some of those people watch this channel. So pretty much I'm going to be telling you my entire story in some pretty great detail about my experiences facing real homophobia as a straight man. I guess that the best place to start with this specific story is starting way back years ago when I was in elementary school. In elementary school, from when I first started school all the way in preschool, all the way up until 6th grade, I went to the local public school that's like in my area. I won't give any information out about that, of course. But really, in a nutshell, I hated it. I felt very out of place all the time. I was always overly conscious about what other people were thinking about me. I did not like being in the school with the other kids. I didn't like the other kids. It's not like I disliked most of them, although, of course, there were some people I just didn't like. I just didn't like the whole idea of being forced to be in a confined area with 20 other people my age. Everything about it just made my anxiety go up all the time. I was depressed all of the time. I went to bed just in tears, just thinking about the next day that I would go to school. And that really just happened off and on for as long as I can remember being in public school. I mean, I have almost no good memories from public school. It was just pure hell. I have been begging my parents to let me become homeschooled since I was in probably 1st or 2nd grade, and for the longest time they never wanted to because they just thought that I wasn't really gonna do the work and all that bullshit. And I knew in my head, I was like, I will do whatever it takes to get out of this shithole of a school with all of these people. I got embarrassed so easily. I was so insecure about everything, overthinking my every move. I mean, being called on when you're not paying attention was just, this is something that everyone experiences. But for me, I was a bitch. We'll put it that way. Because I really wasn't having it most of the time. I really was just kind of a pussy, you know? But really, outside of school, I was a happy kid. I really was. The only time when I really wasn't happy was when I was at school, and as soon as it hit 3:30 and we were able to leave, like, I was head over heels all the way until it was time to go to bed that night to repeat the cycle. Now, here is a key component. This, just to show that this was kind of in my head as an early age. When I was younger, I would like get into stuff that I knew that I wasn't supposed to. I was told not to do something, and you know, curiosity would get the best of me, and I would do it. Mainly media that you see online, like I was exposed to a lot of bad just media at just such a young age. First time I watched porn was I was definitely younger than I should have been, and just in every way. And not to say that it has, ruined me in any way. I think I'm fine after all that. It just, I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal. To be quite honest with you, I'm not that affected by any of the stuff I was exposed to. But let's just say that one of those things that I was exposed to very early on was the TV show and movie series called Jackass. And oh my god, I loved these movies, I loved these people,
and I still do to this day.
In a nutshell, if you don't know what Jackass is, it's just a group of guys, like a group of friends. There's like 10 people there. They just do stunts, but these stunts are not like your usual stunts that you see like at a, circus or anything like that. These stunts are set up specifically so that they can fail, taking the idea that pain equals funny. And so these men would just hurt each other and themselves in creative, stupid, and funny ways for their own amusement, and they would all laugh. They also did like disgusting shit, like just gross stuff for the sake of it being gross, and that's where the humor came from. It was gross. Pranks that just went way over the line in terms of like, you wouldn't normally pull this type of prank on one of your buddies.
I don't like him staring like that. Oh, dude, you guys are total dickheads.
Are you crying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But with Jackass, anything goes, and I absolutely loved that. People like Steve-O and Knoxville have been like some of the biggest people I look up to for just years at this point, and even now, still. So that was a main interest of mine when I was going through public school. Hell, when I was at school, when I was at home, sometimes I would watch me some Jackass and do some cackling. And the thing is, it was only strictly Jackass. There was many other shows and things that were like in that same genre. Jackass is just kind of what birthed the genre. But there's other things like the Dude Sons, and then in early YouTube, you have these edgy content creators like Filthy Frank and iDub. So I was into that around the same time, all back in from like 3rd to 6th grade. I mean, that was my shit, okay? A common theme throughout a lot of these things that I was consuming is the humor, like the whole idea of finding humor within gay actions. You could imagine where this is kind of going. One of my favorite memes of all time is "What Are You Fucking Gay" by Filthy Frank and iDub.
Is that right? What are you, fucking gay?
You see it a lot in the Jackass spin-off called Wild Boys, starring Chris Pontius and Steve-O, where there's just all this gay energy, and it's really fucking weird. These are straight men doing these things, and there was something about the act of a straight guy doing gay things for the sole purpose of being funny, or for a bit, or for certain footage, or just to be edgy and out there. Like, that was just the funniest thing in the world to me. Probably something worthy to keep in mind.
I remember, I want to say it was like right after Wild Boys came out, my dad and I were in Florida, went to the skate shop, and there were a couple kids skating outside the shop, and I just kind of like walked by proudly, sort of displaying myself, like thinking, oh, these kids are gonna recognize me. My dad's gonna be like proud of his son. You know, I'm walking by like kind of proudly, and the one skater kid right in front of my dad, the one skater kid says to the other one, "Yo, dude, that's the guy from Wild Boys." And the other guy doesn't even look up. He goes, "Those dudes are gay."
Now, the 6th grade year ended, and it has finally been proposed to me by my parents that if I wanted to, I could become homeschooled. And this was my 7th grade year at the time, or at least it was the summer leading up to the 7th grade year. And of course, no hesitation, yes, I want to be homeschooled. And to this day, I have stuck by that. I am still homeschooled, and I refuse, especially now, to go back to that public school because I hate most of you. Anyway, now, after I had become homeschooled, of course, I was still into this, like, Jackass stuff and these types of stunts and things. And I had a group of friends at the time who I don't hang around with anymore, and I won't say any of their names because it's unnecessary. But there was like 3 other people, and something that we did that I know other people had also did before, maybe not so much in our generation, but especially in the previous one, like people would do this, and they would make their own amateur jackass like style videos. And so that's what we did. We did our own like version of Jackass. We would just do things to each other for our own amusement. We would do these like amateur stunts, and we're 12 or 13, they're nothing crazy. But then something that is worth noting also is that it was during this time when I had actually realized that I genuinely had like a high pain tolerance. I can handle a lot of physical pain, and that's not me trying to sound tough or anything, because here's the thing, newsflash, I'm not tough. There's complete distinction. I have a high pain tolerance. And even at the youthful age of 12 to 13, I remember being willing to do stuff that was like unheard of for people our age to be doing. I realized that I found something within myself at this time, like, holy shit, like, I can actually handle, like, I was doing things that everybody else was always turning down. Like, we would come up with a stunt idea, it would always trickle down to me. I was also editing this thing. I was the only one who knew how to edit, at least at all. And I'm just looking at this thing. We have like 20 minutes worth of footage of just assorted stunts that we were doing, but I realized that like 90% of these were me, and then the other 10% were just like pussy shit, like genuinely, like, and me at 13, like, this is what I was thinking. I'm like, what the fuck, like, but I knew I had something special, and even to this day, like, I truly do. I can truly put myself in very undesirable scenarios that most people would not want or be willing to do. Keep this in mind, okay? After a while, I actually started to get frustrated, because then it seemed like as time went on, the people that I was doing this thing that we were doing with, that I was so passionate and happy about, they were slowly starting to kind of lose their enthusiasm about filming these things and stuff, and people were just turning down stunts more than they were even before. And I was the guy. I was the Steve-O of this group, which, as proud as I was, I mean, come on, it can't just be one person until it was. I cannot pinpoint a time where we actually stopped doing this altogether, but there was eventually a time where I realized that, like, shit, we're not even doing this anymore. Like, this isn't even a thing anymore. Like, this is all just in my head, and I picked that up, and I was like, okay. But then I got to thinking, like, this whole Jackass-style stunt things, which I know is a very niche thing, like, I'm actually interested in this. Like, I can do this. As time went on, I started to do these things kind of by myself, because in my mind, this was kind of like my resume for this sort of thing, you know? Like, if the opportunity were to ever present itself, I would be fully prepared. I was going to be a jackass. And so, yeah, I started to do stunts by myself, and they started to go up and up in intensity, and there's a lot of things that I probably shouldn't say on YouTube, and I probably would be fine, but I think just out of, even though it's just speaking, I don't want YouTube to find something wrong with what I'm saying and take down this video, so whatever. Just believe me when I say I was doing some intense shit. But then there actually came a point where I had made 2 new friends. There was a kid who just moved in at the time, and his name is Rilo, who is Bob Johnson Jr., who's been on this channel and probably will be sometime in the future as well. And then there was also this other fellow who came over periodically, and let's just say we turned into the true trio. Plus the cameraman. Can't forget about Kanban. But, you know, we were the Jackass trio. And what I mean by that is these 2 guys, you know, I still wouldn't say they were quite on my level, because I'm quite a crazy son of a bitch when it comes to this shit. But they were there. You know, they were up for the job, you know, and they were willing to do some stuff. There are some stuff that they did that I was still am genuinely surprised that anyone besides myself would do that I know personally. I was probably about 14, 15 during this era with these new friends doing these jackass stunts where I wasn't so alone anymore. And truly, this era, I have and always will probably look back on this just so fondly, because it was just such a special time. Everyone was just ready to be killed. And literally, we almost died that summer. And it's like not even a fucking joke. Like, we actually almost croaked. We just didn't care. Like, that was the beginning of the summer, and our antics did not slow down. We had just almost died and kept doing what we were doing with no regard. It was so awesome. Like, it was the best thing ever, seriously. Now, I know I've been rambling for a long time, but every single bit of information that I have shared with you so far is necessary to know to go into the rest of this. Read the shirt! Another day, another dollar. It's been another day since the last recording, because literally at the very end of my last point of that segment, my storage got ran out, so I had to go and like delete a whole bunch of shit off of my phone. And then in the midst of that, I got caught up in some of my allergies, so now my voice is all messed up and my throat hurts. It must be from all of those dicks I've been sucking. I think we kind of get the gist of what this segment is going to be about. This is the point where it gets a little bit more juicy. So people at this high school that I used to go to school with, my kind of ex-acquaintances, kind of knew about some of my antics. They knew about some of these videos. It kind of, because some of the stuff is actually genuinely crazy, and so word gets around and rumors start, and not all of them are really correct, because when one person tells another person, it kind of just goes down the chain where there's videos that show exactly what happened, like precisely. Not everyone sees those. Only a handful of people have seen them, and then rumors spread, and then that kind of goes along, and it's kind of spreading false information, but it's more so just the truth mixed with a lie, and that's what a lot of this is. I didn't get a whole lot of word from people that I used to know about some of these things for like the longest time. I feel like people kind of just didn't really care, kind of just accepted, like, this is just what I do. I just do weird shit for whatever reason. I don't expect them to know the whole jackass aspect of things, although I'm sure some of them do, but I know a lot of them don't, and that's okay. Obviously, they're not gonna understand what my intentions are doing certain things, and that's completely okay, because, if they don't know what jackass is, why would they? But of course, within, like, the whole culture of jackass, some of these videos have gay connotation to it. Like, they are geared that way purposefully for the sake of humor. I know of a bunch of people that would immediately stop me right there and just say, like, oh, you're just covering that up. You're covering the fact that you're homosexual with that it's all for a joke, or it's humorous, But actually, no, that's not what the fuck I'm doing at all, and that's never been that way. I had a realization at one point where it's like, I'm confident in what I like, as in sexually. Like, I am attracted to women, but I am not afraid of gay actions for, like, making a funny video because this is what I find funny. The fact that it makes me so uncomfortable to do certain things, like make out with a dude, like, shouldn't that maybe tell you enough? It's these types of videos, which are literally like 1% of the fucking videos that I've made, is the gay shit. The other 99% is all, actual, stunts. Jackass style stunts where I'm just doing something, crazy with a mouse trap or whatever it may be that day. It was when certain people found out about, like, this other thing that goes along with that I just so happen to be doing because it just so happens to be a part of this whole culture, the jackass culture. Then people did not take too kindly to that, because unfortunately I live in an area full of bigoted people. There came a point when people who I have not communicated with, or let alone even really thought about in years, start, messaging me on Snapchat asking about my sexuality, asking why I did this, and asking, if I'm gay. And look, I'm gonna be honest with you. When this first like started to go uphill, I thought it was fucking hilarious. I thought it was comedy gold on how many people are just like asking if I'm gay because of these videos. Because in my mind, like, I knew my intentions and I had not really picked up the fact that other people probably wouldn't know these intentions at this time. So I just thought it was funny, like thinking, man, you guys are dumb for like thinking that. And which, you know, really looking back, I wouldn't consider them dumb for thinking I was gay at that time. But I did find it peculiar, like, why ask? Why does it matter? We have not talked in years. What does it matter to you whether I like dick or vagina? You know, like, why does, what? I don't get it. I didn't really take it too seriously because at this time it did not feel like it was conflicted. It did not feel like it was a personal attack in any way. It was more just curiosity. They're asking if I'm gay. I'm saying no. Like, I mean, I answered no, of course, but over time I realized that that doesn't fucking matter because people are gonna think whatever they want to think. Another thing that I also found peculiar, and this was kind of the first thing that started to truly annoy me, was that people knew about all this other stuff that I've done. I have been branded, I have been tased, I have been pepper sprayed, I've done more things than that. But people aren't talking about that stuff. No, they're talking about me making out with dudes. Like they're talking about this shit that's like supposed to be little bits. Like little bits that are just like, huh, that's funny. Like, oh man, like but it has turned into such a huge deal. People just completely disregard everything else that I have done and filmed that they all know about. But then, as soon as something makes me look a little gay, oh, what, are you gay? Oh, you fucking faggot? It's like, yeah, this stuff was like edgy and vulgar and just like uncomfortable to see and do. But that goes along with like the whole culture, and people just disregard all of the other stuff. And it's like, it's taking the credit away in a sense. And it's like, I wouldn't necessarily care if it didn't seem at some points like it was like actually a personal attack at me, which I will get to, because it hasn't necessarily gotten to that point yet in this point in time. I thought it was funny when people thought that I was homosexual just at its core. I thought the whole idea of that was just so idiotic and funny. And I just sort of lived with that. Like, it didn't really bother me. I didn't have a chip on my shoulder or anything like that. I will tell you the point in time when it did bother me. The F slur was very famous with me for a long period of time, and actually, in a sense, still is. There are still people that will use that term to describe me, which I find funny now, and I found funny at one point, but there was a point in the middle where I no longer found it funny, and that was when, for one thing, I lived with the fact that they were taking credit away from the other stuff that I've done. I lived with that. It annoyed me, but whatever, it's fine. It wasn't until it became like a personal attack, like people that I have not seen in years, since 6th fucking grade. I was getting outward comments that like I could tell like shit, like these people like actually fucking hate me. And it's like, you can hate me if you want to. Plenty of people hate me. But something that took me a little while longer to pick up on, that I really started thinking about, was that the thing that they were hating me for, yes, it's false, whatever, I'm not gay, but it really began to hit me at one point, like, wait, these people like hate me because they think I'm gay. Like, because they think I'm gay. What I'm getting at is that this is not a good reason to hate somebody. Whether they're right about this theory or wrong, like, it's not okay to just hate somebody because they're gay. Same way it's not okay to hate somebody because they're like black or any other race. Like, it's not okay to hate somebody for something they cannot control. I remember going to the pool and being called faggot by several people that I used to go to school with, that I rarely ever think about, and I haven't actually spoken to in a long time outside of small talk if I've seen them in public or whatever. I laughed at the immaturity of these people, but the fact that it was true homophobia actually started to discourage me. Like, it was actually like an uncomfortable like thing, because like, you know, what the fuck is this? Like, what? Like, it was my last intention to do. Read the shirt! 2 summers ago, it was the 4th of July, and I was in a town 5 miles away from my hometown, and we were watching the fireworks. I was with Bob Johnson Jr., and maybe Kanban was there, but I don't remember a whole lot of him. I think it was just Bob Johnson Jr. The fireworks were over, and we were about ready to leave, and there were 2 old classmates of mine that are current classmates of Bob Johnson Jr., because he goes to the public school too, but he is one of the very few that wants to be my friend. As sad as it is, that's kind of the reality of it. But these 2 guys, I won't say their name because I've not had a whole bunch of experience with them, but like, I know these 2 dudes, and they are known to be homophobes in the school. One of them asked me, "Yo, Ryerson, are you gay?" So I responded, I just said, no, I'm not gay. Pretty simple, pretty blunt answer, just honest no. Like, we were in a hurry, we were leaving, like, no. Both immediately started laughing, and at this point, me and Bob Johnson Jr. had already walked away. Like I said, this was a very quick interaction, but I remember as we were walking away, I heard behind me, one of them say to the other one, I could literally hear it in his voice, referring to, like, that I have a gay accent, which I have heard from some people, and for the most part, I really don't hear it, but if I really deeply analyze, I do somewhat hear it, and I found that comment in and of itself to be, of course, annoying, but kind of funny, because just the whole idea that they fucking, in their mind, they, like, know that I'm, like, totally gay and suck dicks all the time. Like, in their mind, like, they were set on that. Like, bro, I can hear it in his voice, bro. When in reality, they're just fucking stupid. There's another fellow that I have some history with, and for a lot of the time, it has been a very one-sided beef that I've kind of, you know, I've poked the bush a little bit here and there, but in this video, I guess I'm going to rattle the bush just a little bit more. It is kind of overdue because I have not heard from this specific person in probably a good 6 months. It's never too late to respond. I didn't think that I was going to respond. This dude probably won't even see it. This video is mainly just to get my story out there and also for just other people to be entertained by it. This is one of those dudes where it kind of started off, you know, pretty soft. He's one of the guys that I would run into at the local pool every once in a while who would maybe call me a faggot or make some jokes. I hadn't really said anything, you know, back at this point in time because, you know, why would I? Tons of people were doing this and everything. Here's one specific story. Now you're gonna have to listen very closely to this one, okay? So that you could get all of the context clues, because I'm gonna spill as much of it as I really can. Of course, there's some that I can't, but I'm gonna do my best here. So this guy, who I had already known just wasn't a fan of me. No reason to like me, because of course we weren't friends, but no reason to hate me either, sort of thing. But I could tell this dude did not like me, and it was because of his false pretenses, of course. Me and my group of friends were trying to hang out with this other friend who we are no longer in much contact anymore. No burned bridges type thing, like we respect this person and we don't, you know, we don't hate this person at all. We're just not really friends with this person anymore. But at this time, this was 2 years ago, roughly, year and a half maybe, we were trying to hang out with this person. This person said, no, they do not want to hang out today. Okay? Whatever, we all come back to my crib, we're chilling out a little bit, it starts to become nighttime. And we later find out that this person that we tried to hang out with was currently hanging out with this other person who I knew did not like me and actually hated me for, you know, the stuff. And look, this was a while ago. We're not mad at this person for, you know, doing that. It's what I've hung out with people that some of my other friends don't like. That's okay. It's fine. Whatever. But just kind of as a last minute thing, I think it was either Bob Johnson Jr. or Kanban, like, recorded a video of me. They were like, yo, you gotta say something. You gotta yell at this person, you know, whatever, as a joke. Really not a whole lot of ill will there. I mean, of course we were a little offended this person had chose to hang out with somebody who, like, disliked us for the wrong reasons. We were a little annoyed, but we weren't angry. I would not say that we were angry over this. I'm going to go ahead and play the clip that we sent right here.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Why the fuck would you choose him? You chose the fish over us! Ah!
Now, it might be a little confusing to kind of understand what's going on there. That's just what we sent the person who rejected to hang out with us for this guy who is not a very good guy. A very important piece of context to this, actually, for the most part, really the only part that really matters, is the fact that somewhere in that video, I called this dude a fish.
Fish!
It has been kind of an inside joke among my friend group that this guy was a fish because his facial features kind of resembled a fish. We just don't, like, it's not a deal. We don't have any ill intent towards doing that. And even if we did, we just called you a name. I feel like most people would be able to brush that off pretty easily. Apparently, not everybody can brush that off very easily. Now listen, I had only really said this because I was kind of poking the bush, because I knew this guy wasn't the biggest fan of me, so I kind of was like, you know, you fucking fish, you know, you're a fish, you know, type thing, because, you know, you called me a faggot, I'll call you a fish, whatever. This guy didn't like that. He didn't like that at all, because I'll tell you what, I did not have him on any social media, but about 5 minutes after I sent that video, I got added on Snapchat by this fellow, and he had some things to say. He was not very happy about the fact that I called him a fish, and I wish that I had more screenshots, more than just one, and I'll show you the one. Essentially, the gist of the whole conversation was very angry that I had called him a fish. His feelings were very hurt by that. Literally begged me to apologize. And at first, I kind of did play along with that a little bit, because I'm obviously not going to right away, like, suck it up and just say I'm sorry. Like, I know that's what the bigger man would do, but at this time I was in a position where saying sorry isn't really the best look here. And maybe there's some things that I could handle differently in my own ways. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to say that I am a amazing person and that I'm a saint and that I did everything right in this situation. But we're not here to critique me. We're here to critique this cornball. So we kind of went back and forth with that a little bit. I was kind of laughing along just because I knew he was fuming on the other side. Why'd you call me a fish, you fucking faggot? He then threatened to send my parents the, quote, video of me sucking a dick, or whatever it was that he said. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the one screenshot that I took right here, because yes, I'm sure you have a video of those exact events happening, and I'm sure that you'd love to send that to my parents, and they'd love to see it. I'd love for you to send that to them as well, but send it to me first so that I have proof that you have it, right? I continued to laugh, but I slowed down on it a little bit. I was like, you know, where is this aggression coming from? I mean, goddamn, and I even told him after that, like, it was a joke. Like, it was a joke, and I'm not normally the type of guy to do something shitty and then just cover it up like, oh, it was a joke. Like, I don't consider this to be one of those situations. Pretty much after just a 5-minute conversation or less, the dude just blocks me, so like I didn't respond to anything further than that. But that screenshot, I did censor his name and I posted it on Instagram, and unfortunately Instagram took it down within like 5 minutes of it being uploaded. But let me tell you, it did not end there. Not that big of a gap of time after that. We were walking to the pool because this was before I had a car, and this dude pulls up right next to us while we're walking on the road in a pickup truck. And for some reason, he's talking really fast. He's like Eminem in this bitch. He's like, if you don't stop calling me a fish, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass, you fucking faggot. Shit like that. Like fucking 11 syllables per second, yo. You assuming I'm a human, what I gotta do to get it through to you, superhuman? It was a fucking speech. And to be honest with you, I wish that I can remember what I said right after that. But I'm a big enough man to admit that more than likely what I said wasn't really a slam dunk after that. It wasn't really the best response. But hey, at least I'm recording a video where I have shit written down, and so it's like I'm in the shower again, you know, arguing with a fake person 2 years late. But I do remember, I'm going to slow it down for you. I'm not going to say it like how he said it. I'm going to slow it down for you so you can comprehend what he said. So basically, the gist of what he was saying is that if I did not stop calling him a fish, which I did one time at this point, it's been more than that now, he was going to beat my ass, essentially. I said something along the lines of, like, what would that prove? Something like that, which is true. Not the best comeback, but that is, in a sense, kind of what I still believe in. Like, what is that going to prove? And he said, it's going to prove that you're not going to call me a fish again. So let me just say, I could tell he's one of those people that focuses on the gay aspect of my stunts a little too much, because it's like he forgot that I can handle a tremendous amount of pain. So to this day, I've always kind of had the notion that if this guy ever wanted to fight me over being called a fish, I would actually take that fight. He's also a football player, is a pretty masculine sort of dude. Look at me. Does this look masculine to you? Do you think that I could beat up a football player? The answer is no, but I am aware of that. I have another point to make, but I think it's also necessary to just kind of go over the fact this is insecurity at its finest. You get offended by somebody calling you a name, which is something that you sort of started to begin with, and I poked back as a little nudge, like, because you were doing this shit already. You get offended at the tiniest little, itty bitty little response that's not even worth anything, that I put no thought into whatsoever, aside from that your appearance kind of resembles a fish, sort of like how I resemble a doorknob. If you are a person that is angered by an insult based on appearance so bad to where you want to physically beat up the other person, you are then the most insecure person that I have ever met. And he is. He actually, like, I'm not, no joke, I'm thinking, when I think insecurity, I think of this dude. Sorry to break it to you, but after all this time, the fight never happened, and I'm gonna go ahead and say, I don't want to fight this guy. He's a whole lot bigger than me. He'll curb stomp me. He will literally kill me. If I stepped into a boxing ring with this guy, I'm getting knocked out in the first round. And I am admitting to that, and that is fine. I also think that that has absolutely no relevance whatsoever to the whole topic. You were being homophobic. I called you a name just to kind of lightly get back at you, and you fucking took it to the grave. You are a fucking cornball, Gavin. Hey, I feel kind of bad about the last thing that I said. I did not mean to just drop the C word on you like that. That was completely uncalled for. I just wanted to apologize for that last little thing that was really uncalled for, and I need to own up to that. I need to be the bigger man and apologize for all the harsh things that I have said to you and to others. Read the shirt! Pulling me right back in, right back in, right back in. There you go, pulling me right back in. Won't you do it one time? The hammer microphone has officially been replaced. I found something better. The spoonophone. Spoonophone! So essentially, this is the conclusion. I sure hope that this is my last day of filming, because This needs to come out by tomorrow, which should be Easter. So if you're seeing this on Easter and it's the day of uploading, then great on me because I did it. Clearly, I am an open book, as this video displays. If I was gay, I sincerely would have no problem coming out, and more than likely, I would have already long ago. Like long ago, I feel like. If I were to live by the logic of most other people, what is sexually arousing to me does not matter. It is the actions that dictate what my sexuality is, which means I should probably be getting rid of all of these records because owning these makes me a fag. So these need to go straight to the dumpster. Are you kidding me? Romance novels? I better throw these away before I contract semen in my ass. Hey man, every once in a while on a rainy Tuesday, I'll put on a dress because it's nice and airy. But I don't want to be gay anymore, so I'm just gonna stop doing that. Man, these movies and the TV show truly were a staple of my childhood. But I don't want to be a fag, so just fuck it then. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, I fucking broke the you know what? It's fine. I don't care. It's okay. Fuck these DVDs. I'm not gay anymore, remember? There's too many gay actions in these sinful movies. I'm not gonna watch them anymore. It's gay shit. In case you have less than 2 brain cells, this was ironic. What I am trying to say here is, do whatever the hell you want. If something makes you happy, why are you going to stop doing it just because other people are going to call you gay or anything else? This can literally apply to anything. I'm talking anything. This is a very cruel world full of people that will take pleasure in simply watching you fail because it makes them feel better about themselves. And if you're a dickhead who shits on other people for doing for just simply being themselves, for being themselves, just stop it. It is not helping you. It is not helping them. What the fuck are you doing, you fucking loser? And if you're being picked on for your sexuality, your race, your religion, your interests, or anything else, don't change. I am telling you, when you change and you try to be somebody that you're not, that is also contributing to the problems in this world. Be yourself, do what makes you happy, and don't bring others down for whatever reason. Not everybody is as hardened of a soldier as I am. Okay, I know we're joking and everything, but the type of shit that I have legitimately faced is the cause of in people. People will off themselves over things like this. And yes, I kind of don't, I don't see it as a justifiable, there's really no justifiable reason to off yourself. But we as a society need to recognize that words can actually hold weight to some people. Now, something that I think about is, what if I was one of those people that, it just took me over the edge too far and I wasn't here anymore? What would happen? Well, I'll tell you exactly what would happen. At the school that I used to go to, there would probably be some sort of assembly dedicated to me. Maybe people would talk about it, certain people would feel emotional during the actual thing, but you know what would happen after that? School would proceed, people would maybe talk about it a little bit for the next couple weeks, and guess what? After that, I'll be forgotten. And I wholeheartedly believe that things have died down since these events. But I never actually got to publicly say my entire story, and it's very long and overdue, and I just thought that now was the necessary time, because specifically for that reason, because it has like kind of died down a little bit, but I still think about it, and I think it's entirely necessary to make a video like this addressing just some of these actual horrible things. Something else that I know is that I don't know how much of this like school full of these people will see this. I don't necessarily hope or don't hope that they do. I'm just glad that I have this story out there for anyone to see who they want it to. because I never have before. And I am very aware that there is a possibility of this video in and of itself reawakening everything. There's a chance this won't make it better and it'll only make it worse. I'm not expecting it to make it better, but it really could make it worse. After some careful consideration, I came to the realization that, to be honest, whatever happens, it is worth being able to tell my full, complete truth. Do whatever the hell you want. Don't be a dick to people. Can everyone just do their own things and not worry about what the fuck other people are doing? And one last thing. About this fish guy, it's quite symbolic. What do you call a large group of fish swimming in the ocean? You call it a school. That's what it's called. What I'm saying is that this whole school, to me, is basically like a school of fish, following everybody else's every move as to not feel out of place. Exactly how I used to be. But one of those fish just so happens to look like an actual fish. Now, I guess the moral of the story, and to me what makes everything that I have faced worth it, is just knowing that people will always try to bring me down or do this and that, whatever, over me just simply being myself, but I would much rather take that than just being another fucking fish swimming in that ocean.